Life can change in an instant, and for the cast of Jesus of Nazareth, unexpected accidents sent their paths spiraling in unforeseen directions. Once shining under the spotlight, some faced devastating setbacks, while others found new meaning in adversity. Now, in 2025, where are they? Have they risen above their struggles, or are they still searching for redemption? Their journeys are filled with resilience, heartbreak, and incredible transformation. This isn't just about fame, it's about the human spirit and the power of perseverance. Get ready to uncover the untold stories behind the scenes. You won't want to miss this. Robert Powell, who portrayed Jesus in Jesus of Nazareth, was 33 years old in 1977 when he took on the role that would define his career. His ethereal presence, sharp cheekbones, and piercing blue eyes rendered a hauntingly divine portrayal that remains etched in cinematic history. Yet, the role that brought him fame also typecast him, leading to a career overshadowed by that one image. Powell married fellow actress Barbara Lord in 1975, and while their union endured publicly, it was riddled with emotional distance due to his prolonged periods of depression and alcoholism, stemming partly from the spiritual weight of portraying Christ. They had 2 children, Barney and Katie, though his relationship with them has been described as distant. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Powell struggled with roles, many of which failed critically, causing a long decline in prominence. He suffered a nervous breakdown in the late 90s and lived quietly in recent years. At 80, he remains reclusive in rural England, mostly avoiding public appearances. His estate is estimated at $1.5 million, modest for someone of his stature, much of it tied to royalties from his iconic role. Olivia Hussey, who portrayed Mary, the mother of Jesus, was 27 in 1977 when she brought quiet grace and sacred sorrow to the screen. Her wide, searching eyes and gentle manner gave Mary an earthly vulnerability that resonated with millions. However, behind that angelic image lay a tormented personal life. Hussey married 3 times, first to actor Dean Paul Martin, then to Japanese singer Akira Fuse, with whom she had a son, Alexander, and later to David Glenn Isley, with whom she had a daughter, India. Each marriage brought emotional upheaval. Her union with Fuse ended due to cultural differences and long-distance strain, while Isley and she struggled with financial instability. Hussey suffered from agoraphobia and bipolar disorder for decades, which made work nearly impossible after the 1990s. Tragedies struck repeatedly, including her brother's suicide, a house fire, and prolonged battles with cancer. She passed away on December 27, 2024, at the age of 73 from advanced breast cancer. Her estate was estimated at $500,000, much of it lost to medical bills and legal disputes. Valentina Cortez, who played Herodias at 54 in 1977, was both majestic and chilling as the calculating royal. Her character's cold ambition masked a woman wounded by power, and Cortez portrayed this complexity with astonishing nuance. Off-screen, her own life mirrored the drama. She had a famously stormy affair with director Giorgio Strehler and later a relationship with actor Richard Basehart, with whom she had one son, Jackie. Their union was troubled and short-lived, ending in heartbreak and estrangement. Cortez's son suffered from addiction and spent years in psychiatric care, something that haunted her until her death. The loss of friends in the Italian film world, increasing blindness in old age, and a house burglary that left her terrified and fragile contributed to her reclusive final years. Her career declined in the 1980s, and she retired in quiet obscurity. She passed away on July 10, 2019, at 96, alone in a Milanese care home. Her estate, much diminished from earlier wealth, was estimated at $600,000, including a cherished collection of rare religious icons. James Earl Jones, who portrayed Balthazar at age 46, lent his immense voice and gravitas to the wise magi, offering spiritual wisdom and calm. His performance carried a serene strength that echoed the biblical narrative. Yet behind the commanding voice lay a man weighed by profound personal sorrows. Jones battled a debilitating stutter in youth, and though he triumphed over it, the scars lingered. He was married to actress Cecilia Hart, with whom he had a son, Flynn. Their marriage was described as loving but short. Hart's death from ovarian cancer in 2016 devastated him. Jones also endured racial prejudice throughout his career, typecasting, and being overlooked for major roles despite his talent. He became increasingly reclusive in his later years, living with limited mobility and vision loss. His final public appearance was in 2019. James Earl Jones passed away on September 9, 2024, at the age of 93 due to complications from heart failure. His estate, including his voice rights and properties, was valued at approximately $5 million, much of which was allocated to educational and artistic foundations. Tony LoBianco, who portrayed Quintus in Jesus of Nazareth, was 40 years old in 1977 when he took on the role of the stoic Roman authority figure grappling with the rising tensions surrounding Jesus. His performance balanced menace with reluctant reverence, creating a character torn between duty and conscience. Though LoBianco enjoyed some success afterward, his career never soared beyond supporting roles in TV dramas and minor films. He married Dora Landy in 1964, and while they remained together until her death, their marriage was marked by long separations due to work and his emotional unavailability, which deeply strained their bond. They had one daughter, Nicole, with whom he had a distant relationship in later years. Plagued by recurring health issues, including heart problems and a silent battle with depression, LoBianco withdrew from the spotlight in his final years. He often spoke of feeling forgotten by an industry he gave everything to. He passed away on June 11, 2024, at the age of 87 due to complications from heart failure. Despite his long career, he died with a modest estate valued at around $800,000, much of it tied to his modest home in New York and sparse royalty payments from past work. Ian McShane, who portrayed Judas Iscariot at the age of 35 in Jesus of Nazareth, delivered a tormented, raw performance that gave Judas complexity and a haunting humanity. His intense stare and husky voice imbued the role with a brooding desperation. While McShane found critical acclaim for later roles in Deadwood and other series, he often expressed that fame brought him little peace. He was married 3 times, first to actress Susan Farmer, a short-lived union marred by infidelity, second to Ruth V. Post, which also ended in divorce after bitter custody battles over their daughter, Kate, and finally to Gwen Humble, with whom he has remained, though rumors of separation persist. He had 2 children, Kate and Morgan, both estranged at various points. His life has been marked by alcoholism, rehab stints, and a painful estrangement from his brother. Now 82, McShane lives a reclusive life in Los Angeles, seldom seen in public. Though still respected in the acting community, he admits to carrying deep regrets. His estate is currently estimated at $4 million, largely from his HBO successes and voice work. Donald Pleasance, who portrayed Melchior in Jesus of Nazareth, was 58 when he lent his trademark intensity to the role of the scholarly and unsettling astrologer. He infused Melchior with a quiet urgency and spiritual fervor, anchoring his performance with the same unsettling gravitas that defined his career. Pleasance, celebrated for roles in Halloween and various thrillers, was also a deeply private and troubled man. He married 4 times, with each union ending in heartbreak. His 3rd wife, Mira Shore, bore him a daughter, Polly Jo, but their relationship was fraught with distance and tension. Isolated by fame and plagued by chronic insomnia, Pleasance struggled with anxiety and dependency on sleeping pills. He suffered a nervous breakdown in the late 80s and was eventually diagnosed with prostate cancer. He died on February 2, 1995, at the age of 75, from heart failure following surgery. Though best remembered for his villainous screen presence, he died in loneliness, estranged from much of his family. His estate, modest by Hollywood standards, was estimated at $600,000, mostly from residuals and a small home in France. And Bancroft, who portrayed Mary Magdalene at age 46 in Jesus of Nazareth, brought poise and a soulful sadness to the role of the devoted follower of Christ. Her performance radiated a depth of sorrow and redemption that mirrored her own life in many ways. Though she achieved lasting acclaim, including an Academy Award and numerous accolades, Bancroft often felt overshadowed by her husband, comedian Mel Brooks. Their marriage, though enduring from 1964 until her death, was far from idyllic. Behind the public image of unity, she wrestled with his demanding humor and a private longing for more serious artistic companionship. They had one son, Max, but her relationship with him was distant, shaped by her intense career focus. Bancroft battled depression throughout her life, especially following professional disappointments and multiple miscarriages. She also endured a lifelong struggle with body image and disordered eating. Diagnosed with uterine cancer, she kept her illness private until her final days. She died on June 6, 2005, at age 73. Despite the turbulence in her personal life, her estate was valued at approximately $20 million, thanks to decades of film work and smart investments. Claudia Cardinale, who portrayed Salome in Jesus of Nazareth, was 39 years old when she embodied the enigmatic and seductive figure whose dance heralded tragedy. Her performance shimmered with dark allure, a haunting beauty that lingered in the memory of viewers. Though she became a cinematic legend across Europe with roles in 8 and a Half and the Leopard, her off-screen life bore more sorrow than glamour. Cardinale was never legally married, though she had a long, stormy relationship with director Pasquale Squitieri, which endured betrayal and public scrutiny. Their only son, Patrick, was born when she was just 19, the result of a traumatic incident that Cardinale rarely discussed publicly. She spent much of her life fighting for women's rights, perhaps a reflection of her own unresolved pain. Her later years were marred by isolation and the loss of many close friends to illness. Though celebrated globally, she lived a reclusive life in Paris, far removed from the limelight that once adored her. Now 87, Cardinale resides quietly, her health in decline and her legacy partially eclipsed by the modern industry. Her estate is estimated at $4 million, much of which she intends to leave to film restoration charities and her son, who manages her affairs with solemn devotion. Ernest Borgnine, who portrayed the centurion in Jesus of Nazareth, was 60 when he took on the role of the stern Roman officer slowly awakened by the events surrounding Jesus' crucifixion. His gravitas and moral conflict lent power to a role often overlooked. Off-screen, Borgnine's life was a tumultuous blend of triumph and tragedy. He was married 5 times, including a famously disastrous 39-day union with singer Ethel Merman. His longest marriage to Tova Tresnes brought some stability, but they never had children together. He had 4 children from previous relationships, most of whom remained distant from him. Behind the public charm was a man haunted by years of loneliness, the trauma of his military service, and a long estrangement from his eldest daughter. His later career saw dwindling roles, and he struggled with depression as the parts dried up. Still, he remained active in veterans support programs until his final years. Borgnine passed away in 2012 at the age of 95 due to kidney failure. His funeral was a quiet affair, far removed from the Hollywood spotlight he once dominated. His estate was valued at approximately $10 million, managed by a trust for his surviving children and widow. James Ferrantino, who portrayed Peter in Jesus of Nazareth, was 39 years old when he took on the role of the loyal but tormented disciple. His portrayal captured the raw humanity of a man torn between love and fear. Though acclaimed for his powerful performance, Ferrantino's life unraveled in the years that followed. He married 4 times, including a turbulent union with actress Michelle Lee, with whom he had his only son, David. After their divorce, he fell into a pattern of brief affairs, substance abuse, and legal troubles. His last public relationship ended in scandal after he was arrested for stalking Tina Sinatra, daughter of Frank Sinatra. Estranged from his son and blacklisted by major studios, Ferrantino faded from screens. Depression and addiction plagued his later years, and he spent long stretches in seclusion, supported by a dwindling circle of friends. He died in 2012 at age 73 from heart failure, penniless and largely forgotten. His once promising legacy as an actor was buried beneath the weight of personal demons. His estate was minimal, less than $100,000, most of which was absorbed by debt and medical expenses. Stacy Keach, who portrayed Barabbas in Jesus of Nazareth, was 36 when he gave the revolutionary a brooding intensity that bordered on feral. His portrayal offered a glimpse into a soul broken by violence yet defiant in spirit. Off-screen, Keach's path was littered with hardship. In 1984, he was arrested and jailed in England for cocaine possession, an event that shattered his reputation. He married actress Malgosia Tomasi, with whom he had 2 children, Shannon and Carolina, but the marriage suffered under the strain of his addiction and absences. Though they never divorced, sources claim they lived apart for years. Keach struggled with vocal cord paralysis later in life, a cruel blow to a man whose voice once commanded theaters. He lost many colleagues to cancer and suicide and battled his own health issues in silence. Despite appearing in TV shows and narrations into old age, he was often overlooked, a relic of a time few cared to remember. Now 83, he lives quietly in California, financially stable but emotionally frayed. His estate is valued around $3 million, a modest sum compared to the promise of his early career, now clutched by time and tarnish. James Mason, who portrayed Joseph of Arimathea in Jesus of Nazareth, was 68 years old when he took on the role of the nobleman who bravely claimed Jesus' body from the cross. His performance conveyed quiet dignity and spiritual conviction, adding weight to a minor yet pivotal character. Behind the scenes, Mason's life was riddled with personal struggle. He was married to actress Pamela Colino, with whom he shared a complicated union marked by artistic collaboration and emotional distance. They had 2 children, Portland and Morgan, though his relationship with them became strained later in life due to his growing dependence on prescription drugs and heavy alcohol use. Mason's later career declined as he withdrew from public life, consumed by loneliness and chronic health issues. He suffered several strokes before dying of a heart attack in 1984 at age 75. Despite his private torment, he was remembered for his precision and elegance on screen. His estate, diminished by years of legal battles and medical expenses, was valued at around $1.5 million at the time of his death. Laurence Olivier, who played Nicodemus at age 70, delivered a performance marked by deep introspection and solemnity, embodying a man torn between tradition and truth. Olivier brought immense pathos to the role, reflecting both the intellectual depth and spiritual crisis of Nicodemus. Though revered as one of the greatest actors of the 20th century, Olivier's personal life was a landscape of sorrow. His marriage to Vivien Leigh, plagued by her bipolar disorder and infidelities, ended in heartbreak. They had 1 son, Tarquin, but the relationship was often distant. He later married actress Joan Plowright, with whom he had 3 children, yet even that union was darkened by his fading health and depressive episodes. A series of illnesses, including thrombosis and dermatomyositis, left him physically weakened and emotionally fragile. Olivier died in 1989 at 82 from kidney failure. His estate was valued at approximately $6 million, yet no amount of wealth could mask the loneliness that haunted his final years. Christopher Plummer, who portrayed Herod Antipas at age 47, gave a chillingly human portrayal of the arrogant yet insecure ruler tormented by his conscience. With cold eyes and a tormented soul, Plummer brought depth to a villain typically rendered as caricature. Though celebrated for his towering career that endured for over 6 decades, Plummer's private life was far less stable. He was married 3 times, first to actress Tammy Grimes, with whom he had a daughter, actress Amanda Plummer. Their marriage was brief and fraught with jealousy and resentment. He later married journalist Patricia Lewis and then Elaine Taylor, though he often confessed to being an emotionally distant partner and father. Plummer battled alcoholism throughout his early career, and despite professional resurgence later in life, he remained privately burdened by guilt and estrangement from his daughter. He died in 2021 at age 91 after a fall that caused a head injury. At the time of his death, his estate was estimated at $10 million, but he remained a haunted man, often reflecting bitterly on his emotional failures. Who is your favorite character from Jesus of Nazareth? How does it feel knowing that some of the actors are no longer with us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on future uploads. Thank you for your support.